with the citizen. Them ain't want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. Yeah.
PPP will take care of you from erection to resurrection.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. A pleasant good evening to everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Over to You, a program for the people, by the people, on this, the 4th day of July 2026, and also the day that marks 250 years of independence here in the great United States of America. So I just want to first say happy Independence Day to everyone on the ground here in the US. And look, if you're in Guyana and you choose to acknowledge the US independence, it is also fine. Okay, so happy Independence Day to all on sundry. All right, welcome again. Welcome to tonight's program. Look, the United States is called the land of the free and the home of the brave. All right, this is a nation that was built strongly. Okay, and immigrants have played a massive role. For a matter of fact, outside of the American Indians, everybody else in this nation that occupies this great nation are all immigrants. All right, all immigrants, and it's a melting pot nation. All right, and it is all those different cultures and thought processes and all the different things that makes the United States what it is. All right, there's no one ethnic group. All right, it's everyone. It's a melting pot. So everyone have their rich history in this country, and everyone would have contributed tremendously to the success of this great nation. Again, a pleasant good evening to everyone, and welcome to Over to You, a program for the people, by the people. I encourage everyone to go ahead and do your little administrative duty that we ask here on Over to You. Share the broadcast, share the broadcast. Don't forget, it is your investment. It is your program. All right, I am merely your host. All right, I am hired by you and I can be fired by you. Welcome again. All right, while you guys do that, I'm going to just prepare to do this evening's roll call. And listen, guys, I was not going to play around with you guys. I know it's the 4th of July. It's a U.S. holiday. but I wasn't taking it for granted with you guys that, oh, it's a holiday, you know, let's spend time with the family. You know, I did spend time with the family. I did. Yesterday we went out to a theme park, the Sesame Place there. It was 100 degrees. Man, oh my goodness. That sun, you know, you guys say that sun in Guyana is hot, man. When it gets hot here in the United States with the humidity and everything, oh, man, you feel like if you're in a pressure cooker. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. I'm not messing with you guys. We're having a program this evening. All right. Let me do tonight's roll call while you guys share the link. Share the link. Share. Yvonne Rodriguez Barbados is in the house. A pleasant good evening to you. Marcus Paul Canarsie Brooklyn is in the house. Happy Independence to you, Marcus, and it's good to see you this evening. Miss Sandra Hanover is in the house. A pleasant good evening to you. Freedom Fighter, happy 4th of July to you. Who else is here? Yvette Madu is in the house. A pleasant good evening to you. Yvette, welcome to the broadcast. Rhonda Tuesday is here. A pleasant good evening to you, Miss Tuesday, Freedom Fighter. Welcome. Rastaman is in, nice and early. Good to see you, my brother. 2 thumbs up for you. Happy Independence. Puran Ramdas, Region 2 is in the house. Puran, a pleasant good evening to you, my friend. I owe you a call. Let's try to get that done this week. Mary Figueroa, our first Canadian in the house. A pleasant good evening to you, Mary. Welcome. Hope that all is well on your end. Eva Garnett, good evening to you, Miss Garnett. Hope you're keeping well. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. Miss Pam Halls is here. Good evening to you, Miss Halls. It's always a pleasure having you here on the broadcast. Althea Jones is in the house. A pleasant good evening to you, Miss Jones. You continue to be that strong freedom fighter that you are. Glendy, a pleasant good evening to you. Not going to try to call your last name. Don't want to get it wrong. Hazel Johnson is in the house. A pleasant good evening to you, Miss Johnson. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. And Samagon is in the house. Good evening and great to see you. Savitri Rose is here. Good evening, Savitri. It's good to see you. The freedom fighter herself, Miss Maxine Monroe, is in the house. Pace and power this evening. Good to see you, Miss Monroe. Jackie Cameron is here. A pleasant good evening to you, Jackie. Angeli Abrams is in the house. Good evening, Angeli. Hope all is well. Comrade Wayne Archer is here. A pleasant good evening to you, Wayne, my brother. Great to see you here. Matthew Dennison is in the house. Oh, yes. Harlem is in the house. Marna Saul is here. Happy 4th of July to you too, Marna. She's saying happy 4th of July, everyone. Hazel Johnson, correct. The United States of America is a country built by all nations put together. Amen. I rest that case right there. Shanette Alicia is in the house. Good evening, Shanette. Miss Audrey Brown, the freedom fighter herself, is here. Good to see you, Miss Audrey Brown. Edward Gonzalez is in the house. Good to see you, Edward. Wayne Archer, you're in New York. All right. Let's see if we could connect, brother. Jamal Aziz is here. Barbies is in the house, watching from Barbies, my brother himself, Mr. Jamal Aziz. Yes, he is indeed a freedom fighter. Robert London, good evening and good to see you. Mavis Davis Wells is in the house. Good evening to you, Miss Davis Wells. Junie Hackett is here. My good friend, Miss Rhonda Spencer Tom is here. A pleasant good evening to you. Lachman Aziz, the wife of my good friend, Mr. Jamal Aziz, is here also. She's watching from Barbies too. Good to see you both here. Two freedom fighters, boy. Lawrence McKenzie, a pleasant good evening to you. Linda Horst, good evening. Lyndon, good evening. Lester Tom, it's great to have you here. All right, and it goes on and on. Marina Edwards, good to see you. Shondell C. Canterbury is in the house herself. Good to see you, Miss Canterbury. Jennifer is here. Good evening, Jennifer. Eva Garnett is here. Good to see you. Marcus Skinner is in the house. And who else? Last but not least, the Honorable former Minister of Finance, Comrade Winston Jordan. It's good to have Mr. Jordan present here in the house. Gavin Caesar, the executive producer, good to have you in the house. A pleasant good evening, everyone. Again, welcome to tonight's broadcast. Where do we start? Do we want to start with the 250 years of independence for the United States of America? Do we want to start off with the ball that was kept in Guyana by the U.S. ambassador and her team down in Guyana and the invitees? And I ask all of you guys, please do not be surprised. Do not be surprised. Because here this evening, I'm going to sit down right here on this program and tell you guys y'all tech setup. All right? Y'all tech setup. When I was making my statements, and many others did the same, and I was complaining about opposition leader, and I tried to indicate to everybody, hey man, all right, the guy would have formed a party and he didn't do it by himself. All right? He did not form that party by himself. He had a lot of support. Yes, he's financially wealthy. Let me be specific, because one can be wealthy in many ways. He is financially wealthy. How he would have gotten there, that's a different discussion. Okay, that's a whole different discussion. Let's stay in the line here. All right. I would have said that this guy should not be placed in the position of opposition leader. There are reasons why. Okay, the guy is sanctioned. It's not pending indictment. They're indictments against him. So what you guys would have done there, you have weakened your position. Remember, guys, when we talk about opposition leader, it's not a position where you're just acting nationally. You also have to act internationally. And you also must be accepted internationally. Right? We talk of geopolitics. All right? And here is the example for you guys. You had no representation. All right? Because what? He wasn't invited. And the question was asked to the U.S. ambassador. Why was he not invited? And what she said? She spoke of the sanctions. And she spoke of the indictments. All right? And that there is an indictment on the Guyanese who sits on the side of the opposition. Because there was no representation. Hey, listen, you might say, well, oh, it was just a ball. No, man. Political conversations, political discourse happens at these type of events. Deals are made at these same events. It may not be done completely, the structured deal and everything completely done and everything, but the groundwork is laid right at these same events. So, ladies and gentlemen, again I say, and I would have said this, over and over, man, character plays a massive role. Character plays a massive role. Look, we have the Honorable Former Minister of Finance on the program, Comrade Winston Jordan. Character is very, very, very important. So I saw a lot of people jumping in, and yes, it is constitutionally correct. It is right that the opposition leader must be in place. But there was a lot of hesitation to put this gentleman in place. There's a reasoning behind that. But those people, And listen, there are some high-level people who are highly intelligent, who are intellectuals that was calling for this. And what I want to do, I want to ask them to come to the front of the class now and explain to the people what is their defense of this. You can't just stay quiet though. You are shouting that there needs to be an opposition leader in place. I want to hear your voice now. I want to hear your voice because you people know best. You people know best. So I need to hear from you. To the Guyanese people, you will live and you will learn. All right? You will live and you will learn. Because I say to those same individuals, you knew that when you have the high-level functions, amongst other things, that you would not allow this gentleman to be there. You will not invite him. You didn't just figure this out. You knew this before elections. You knew this before everything would have happened. But you see, you Guyanese people, you're accustomed being deceived and being carried out to sea. And this is another example. Because they have what? Another 3+ years to use this excuse. You cannot have a national opposition leader. You need to have an opposition leader that could go out there, you understand me, that can get out there internationally, all right, and make connections. Because there's how things are working today. The PPPs out there, they're making deals, they're getting to know other people, they're going around in all the nations. And they're doing their thing. They're putting their vision out there, which is a nightmare to the Guyanese people. The PPP vision is a nightmare for the normal Guyanese man and woman. But do we have anything to counter that from an opposition perspective? Is the opposition narrative out there internationally? For a matter of fact, Guyana is not even well represented internationally. Especially if we want to look from a financial and an economic, from an economic basis. We cannot be well represented internationally when we have people like Comrade Winston Jordan and Dr. Vincent Adams, among so many others that are just sitting there in Guyana with a preponderance of wisdom. All right? So we could never be well represented internationally. We are right now being taken advantage of. And whomever can find a wherewithal to shut down the messaging of the great men who I would have just called their names, they will do exactly that, because when it's all said and done, their bottom line is being satisfied. But the bottom line of the Guyanese people, that is what is not being satisfied. And you can't blame the investors. You have to blame the government that is currently in place. All right. What did we just celebrate in Guyana? 60 years of independence. And the two predominant ethnic groups in Guyana is the East Indians, the Guyanese of East Indian descent, and the Guyanese of African descent. You guys had the nation for 60 years. Well, you did. You fought each other for 60 years. Now, people are coming into your country and telling you what to do. You know how far along Guyana should have gone? We are so far behind. We are still behaving like a colonial society. And I wanna quickly use Rwanda as an example, where you had external forces came in and supported one tribe. And then the other tribe, they end up starting to kill each other. Thousands upon thousands of people died. I'm going to say this. And I have no regrets with anything that I say it because I want to say it. And because I say what I mean and I mean what I say. In Guyana, past and present, we've had some real wicked leaders. I'm going to use the word wicked. All right. And the ones that we have presently, they trump everybody. Because what's at stake? Our oil patrimony. And I don't just want to use oil. Our natural resources is at stake. The investors are not just coming in and extracting what they got to extract from Guyana. All right. I would have heard the ambassador said that, oh, it's not just about us coming in and extracting resources from Guyana. There's going to be a long-term relationship with Guyana. Well, here, if the long-term relationship with Guyana going to look like this, then we want it. Because you can't extract one's wealth and take it to your country where everybody's living lavishly. And then you have a government that is there, that is working with you, that is suppressing the natives of that country while you extract. And you being the world's largest economy, you continue to enrich yourself while, Guyana continues to get poorer. Its people are punishing, poverty is the name of the game, right? Are these people ashamed to see that we're teetering on 60%, a 60% poverty rate and a 38% abject poverty rate? And they sit down there to talk about development? Development for whom? People should not have to believe in a narrative in order to get basic services in Guyana. You should not have to believe or to vote PPP to get basic services, to get anything done by your NDC or your RDC, to get a piece of land. You should not. Conrad Jordan is in the audience this evening. He knows under the APNU AFC coalition of 2015 to 2020 that nobody had to do that. When you go in and you applied for a piece of land, the question wasn't asked who you voted for. You were looked at as a Guyanese, and you was looked at as a human being that is entitled to a piece of land in his or her own country. People want to talk about real estate. The real estate market that exists in Guyana is not for the normal Guyanese. It's for people that live in the diaspora, like myself and others, who have the wherewithal and that could come down to Guyana and do those things. With the prices, Guyanese are priced out. The wages that a normal Guyanese is making is not even remotely close. For them to pay rent and have that additional money to save up to buy any house in Guyana. It's not possible. That's impossible. You know, they'll say, hey, don't say that. Nothing is impossible. No, it's impossible. Kill Bill Volume 1. That's what I'm calling that march on Monday. I know the march is, the name of the march is Kill the Bill. But I'm going to call it Kill Bill Volume 1. And why did I add a volume to it? The protest. Why did I add a volume to it? Because it should not be one. It should not be one protest. There is a preponderance of issues. There's a preponderance of failures by this government. I thank Brother Kedaki Amsterdam and Sister Annette Ferguson and Comrade Winston Jordan. You know, you guys need to tune in on Thursdays, and I hope most do, to listen to Mr. Jordan on the economy. Because to be able to get such information for free every week, I would say to every Guyanese, you should not miss out on that opportunity to be edified. Yes, you may not be an accountant, you may not be an economist, you may not be in finance, but hey, that edification helps you to manage your money better. It also helps you to manage where you spend your money and understanding money, and when you spend your money in a certain place, where the money goes. Right now, we're going down a road where we're eliminating all the small mom and pop businesses in Guyana. That spells disaster. Right? There was a period on the Lyndon Forbes Samson Bonham, can't remember when, but I should have looked it up, but can't remember exactly when the Chinese took all their business and marched out to Guyana. You don't want to put yourself back in that type of position again. You don't. So there is a need for us to have our own bona fide businesses in Guyana. A massive need. We need to protect the small businesses that we have in Guyana. Do not allow them to be overwhelmed by these Chinese businesses. You guys heard what Barry Jagdeo said. He said we can't do anything but the Chinese businesses, meaning that they can come and set up anywhere. And like I would have said before, the Chinese businesses are funded directly by the People's Republic of China. A lot of them are. How are you competing against that without some measure of government regulation? How are you? So we have now find ourselves in a position where we are opening up Guyana to international investors, but we don't have control. There should be a measure of control. You don't just open up, oh, here you go. No. It must be controlled. All right? You must be looking at your normal Guyanese businesses to make sure that there is a balance. You can't just sit down and open up Guyana to everybody and say, hey, here you go. You gotta compete against these US-based investors and these US-based businesses. We can't do that. We can't do that. We don't have the finances. I wouldn't say we don't have the wherewithal, but I would say we need the finances in order to compete against these businesses. They just come and throw massive amounts of money there. How is Guyana countering that? And they're talking about bringing back what? Interdevelopment Bank? Who tell you that myself and everybody on this show, we all want to be business people? Who told you that? Did you do a study that indicate that we all want to be business people? Did I say that I want to be a businessman and next to me live Comrade Winston Jordan and next to Comrade Winston Jordan is Kedaki Amsterdam and we all got 3 businesses and we all selling the same thing? This government has no balance to it. You understand me? They have no balance to it. Who's what's the guy, not the Minister of Information, but Charles Ramson? Can you provide some information as to how many jobs the Guyanese government has created? Government jobs. Because in order to have a strong, robust government, a government that is consistent, of course you need government jobs. You need government jobs. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at time. It's already 7:35 Eastern Standard Time here in the US. The president's bill, that bill, retired president. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of things I see wrong. They're also setting up a retirement plan for this current sitting guy here. And while we do this, pensioners are living on $46,000 a month. I remember in 2021 on a program, I would have called for at least, at minimum, pension being $70,000. I think it's in 21, maybe in 2021. Had it been $70,000 and you give a $10,000 raise every year, get it cap it at $100,000. Say, hey guys, we are at $100,000. We're not going to give out anything for the next 2 years because we've given you a lot up front. That's understandable. And then barring, you understand me, no tremendous spike in cost of living and inflation, you take a 2-year break and you come back after 2 years. And you give them what, an additional $5,000-$10,000 depending on where inflation lies. This government don't even check to see where the inflation rate is and cost of living is. They just call out percentages and believe that, Guyanese households and pensioners must make magic happen. So, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you guys, but I will be watching attentively to see the volume of individuals that show up and show out come Monday, July the 6th. That's important to me. I don't know about you guys. It's very important to me. Because one thing we need to understand, that when we're doing these programs, we want to make sure that they're getting out to the people of Guyana. That's one. And two, that the people are being edified, they're learning something. You cannot just get up and mundanely go to work every day, come home to your family, and not understand what is happening in your country. politics must play a role in the home. I'm not asking for politics to be, the frontal thing that you speak on in the home. But I believe it is the responsibility of parents and leaders of the home to edify and prepare teenagers. Check with them to see if they just read the newspaper or if they look at online news and these type of things. Because this government that we have sitting here, they're doing loans under the table. They're not a transparent government. They're doing loans under the table. They're making decisions that those same young people that you have in the home, now growing up, they're going to pay the price. They're going to pay the price. The debt is on their head. And as parents across Guyana, you can't ask any parent, hey, do you love your child? They'll be like, what kind of stupid question are you asking me? Absolutely, I love my child. Well, if you really love your child, you need to demonstrate that. You need to educate your children. You need to prepare them for the future and what they're going to have to deal with. All right? Make them stronger. Right? Don't give them a heads up. Don't allow them to be blindsided. Because them getting blindsided can lead to a lot of things. Can lead to a lot of things. Children growing up with you all the time, you going out, you're working, you're doing what you have to do, right? And then all of a sudden that child is on his or her own. And then they are faced with understanding the pressures that comes with a young professional being out there on their own. That can cause a lot of things, including suicide, right? And we know that Guyana have a high suicide rate already. Okay? So we want to teach our children. We want to prepare our children. What is happening on Monday is also a good exercise for your children. Let them understand. Okay? Again, the call is for a peaceful protest. All right? Every Guyanese that shows up there, all right, they show that they do not agree with the way the government in Guyana is functioning. Ultimately, every Guyanese that shows up out there is a vote of no confidence against this PPPC government. That is what it is. I don't care who they're working with. Whomever they're working with, whomever external forces they're working with, whomever they're in bed with, does not care about the normal Guyanese people. And you can't come in our country and say that you're extracting and you don't care about me. You cannot. One cannot preach democracy in their nation and that they're the greatest democracy out there. They are practicing democracy. But when you look at Guyana, what do you see? What do you call Guyana? You want to call Guyana a democracy? You cannot. You cannot. Guyana more align itself with a dictatorship. A government that if you challenge and if you are a voice of dissent, you risk being persecuted. A government that sits there that has some commission called the Ethnic Relation Commission that is looking solely at voices of dissent, looking at their programs, looking for any way that they can write them a letter or call them in for a meeting. You call that democracy? You call lack of justice for Guyanese democracy? You call right now alleged, but it is new that those two young men that would have died along the line top there in the Ants Grove area there was struck down by a police, and that individual cannot be located. You call that democracy? You call a police just looking through the crease of a gate in Sophia and shooting down a young man with a bullet lodged next to his spine? You call that democracy? You call no justice for the Adriana Young family democracy? We are still living in a democracy? Come on, man. Come on, Guyanese. And you can't, listen, you can't change the narrative. You cannot change the narrative with no leader that comes with 10, 12 suitcases, a whole lot of baggage. You need to change that with somebody who is authentic, somebody who brings character, who brings wisdom, who brings understanding, who has a mission and who has a vision to lead the Guyanese people out of this. Thank you, Mr. Ben. The driver was found and identified. Thank you for that information, Mr. Ben. I don't care what police he is. He should be locked up. He left the scene. Ladies and gentlemen, he left the scene of a deadly accident. Not just one life claim, two. He should be locked up. And you wouldn't leave if you know that you are right. And don't come with that thing later, oh, he left because he was shocked. No, you're a policeman. You know police work, you can't be shocked. I hear little tits and bits, oh, file is with DPP. No, file don't need to be with DPP. That's a later on. Lock him up now. Y'all didn't think what y'all was doing when y'all run down little Altav and make his and knock his bicycle, his motorcycle into that light pole? What y'all was trying to do? Y'all was trying to lock him up. That's what y'all trying to do. Now you guys need to lock this vagabond up. And I want to say kudos to Dr. Terence Campbell, Comrade Saiku Andrews, the Honorable Miss Coretta McDonald. That's just a few that I would have seen protesting that police station that the officers would have came from that caused the death of young Altaf King. And rightfully so. Like I said, we need to see more and more protest. This government should not be allowed the latitude of a 5-year term. They are disastrous. They are a disgrace to the fabric of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Disgrace. For all those who are coming in now and aiding this government, please go back and take a look at our history. Please, because you guys are coming in with a sense that we never had anything in Guyana. That's not true. That is not true. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys recall we did programs here with all the things that we had in Guyana. And we weren't bringing in this type of revenue that's coming in today. So it shows that the people, that the Guyanese people would have placed responsible for managing the wealth of this country, again, guys, total misjudgment. And those of you who like to vote along the ethnic lines, oh, in years to come, you're going to sit down on your little porch if you have one, and you're going to reflect on your ignorance. Oh, I'm saying it. Because if you look at Guyana, the Venezuelans continue to come in. The Cubans are coming in also. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we in Guyana had as spoils for ourselves doesn't exist anymore. The spoils are being shared with a whole lot of migrants that's coming in. So that means it's less for every Guyanese. And that's if you get it at all. Right? Because if you look, ladies and gentlemen, our Army Corps of Engineers, they're building 300 homes in Jamaica. The little shacks that is built for Guyanese in Guyana, they're what they call little housing scheme, the little place in them little dark kennels that we were showing a few years ago. Jamaicans will not accept that. Jamaica has standards. Okay? Those people are accustomed to quality. And they will accept nothing less than quality. All those businesses that are preparing aid for Venezuela and the government and everybody that is preparing aid for Venezuela, I ask the question, where is the aid for the Guyanese people that were flooded out multiple times this year in the Georgetown River, the Kokwani River, and I'm not talking about the real river, Kokwani or George. There's no Georgetown River. Demerara River is there, but I'm talking when Georgetown flood is a river, so I give it a name, the Georgetown River, the East Coast River, and y'all covering up the canals, right? Y'all covering up the canals. Did y'all explain to the opposition what's the nature of this project? How this project is going to change drainage and irrigation? No explanation. And you guys want to call this, hey, Guyana, a democracy? Oh, come on, man. The PPP is a runaway train, man. The PPP is a runaway train. That's why I took the position. I don't care what position you hold. We're always going to be open to a conversation. I don't care. Whatever position you own, okay, fine, you own that position, whatever the case is. But it's not going to stop me from engaging you. It's not going to stop me from slapping the brakes on you when you're wrong. Allah, the United States ambassador. I know everybody's want to be like, oh, Wayne, don't say this. Oh, Wayne, don't say that. No, wrong is wrong. Or you going to come and say that Guyanese is going to be in a better position under the PPP? How can you say such a thing? Where's the better position? It's been 6 years. Show me the better position. And we must sit down and allow that. That's when you allow someone else to come into your country and be the most powerful person in your country, the most powerful individual in your country. That's wrong. That's wrong. Then you're no longer an independent nation. You're not a sovereign nation any longer. And your leaders are incompetent. That's why somebody from a foreign land would come into your country and be the most powerful voice in your nation. We got to get better, ladies and gentlemen. We have to get better. The Guyanese people need proper, robust leadership. We need competent leadership. I am just tired as an individual of seeing the incompetence that I'm seeing and know that we have very, very strong leaders out there. I have my group of guys and I'll always call their names. I have, and it's a whole lot of them. It's a preponderance of them. And they will do a number on Guyana in a positive way when it comes to leadership. Why? Because they're not greedy and they're not selfish. They have been there before, been there, done that, and there's no mansions to show or anything. Because what? Their focus was on development of the nation and development of the nation's human capital. You talking about former president's bill when you haven't even paid our teachers? Our nurses are underpaid and overworked. Our doctors are overworked. The Guyana Police Force and more so the Guyana Defense Force and Fire Service can do with a good top up. Really? You come telling us about presidents? Look here. We ain't got time to talk about 3, 4, or 5 people. We want to talk about mass. We want to talk about the masses in Guyana. We don't care anything but no president, former president. We don't care, period. I'm saying it right here. We don't care. Let's talk about the normal Guyanese. You stayed out of parliament for what, over 112 days, something of that nature? And then when you come back with this nonsense? You know, I remember when I first started doing these political programs, ladies and gentlemen. I came out and I shouted out that they're going to find out. They're going to find out about Guyanese. You know? But I'm hoping that this dispensation of Guyanese, they're not going to prove me wrong. Right? You guys got to stand up, man. You guys got to stand up for your leaders within your villages. Plaisance. Yeah? I'm called Plaisance. Some of you leaders in Plaisance, I'm painting everybody with one brush. You guys have sold Plaisance out. You guys allow them to come and take down the radio station tower and allow the man to assemble Praterville and do everything. No strength shown. No resistance shown. He just walked in and took what he wanted of what is ancestral lands. The people of Buxton. The people of Buxton. Your leaders is Dr. David Hines and Comrade Kidaki Amsterdam. Now no Buxton gangs. What future is gangs going to give you? What future is gangs going to give your children? What future is motorbike gangs going to give your family? You really want to see grandchildren? Do you really want to see grandchildren? What's the sustainability of the life of a motorbike or motorcycle gang member? You guys want to play with guns? AR-15s, AK-47s, all over the streets. Guyana's become a culture of guns now. My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. First of all, I want to encourage you to join me tomorrow. I'm going to try to have Brother Kidaki Amsterdam here with me tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know the schedules or anything. I'm going to also see if I can have Comrade Winston Jordan come on for a few minutes here. tomorrow. All right? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, and all those who are listening to this program this evening. This protest is not about people fighting government. This protest is about the people telling government, no, you cannot do this. You cannot do this. We cannot have a 60% poverty rate and a 35 to 38% abject poverty rate, and you're doing this. Now, if we have a poverty rate that looks like what we have here presently, ladies and gentlemen, let's ask ourselves the question. What is it that those former presidents would have accomplished? Like I said, I was able to name 3 things that I believe that Comrade Granger accomplished. And look, this is not being biased, ladies and gentlemen. It's not being biased. I don't want to call the stadium out there on the East Bank an accomplishment. I don't want to call that an accomplishment, because all the stadium does do is take the little money that the Guyanese people have. So I can't call that an accomplishment. I can call the investment that Comrade Granger, and yes, Comrade Jordan is here, so he can hear for himself. And Comrade Jordan being the Minister of Finance, I could speak of their accomplishments when it comes to education. They were able to buy river boats for those indigenous people way out there that their children were paddling canoe dangerously. You got all kind of things in the water. Them trying to paddle canoe 5 o'clock in the morning to try to get all the way up for school and all this. That's dangerous. They provided school buses. All right. I was there in their tenure, 2015 to 2020. I was in Guyana 3 times, ladies and gentlemen. 3 times. And I was also there in 2012 when blackout killed. Man, look, the mosquitoes feast on the American blood, man. All right. I could give them credit. Consistent electricity in Guyana 2015 through 2020. Did a wonderful job. I must applaud them. And they didn't have this oil money that's available now to this government. They didn't have that. All right. So there's so many things that would have happened under that coalition government. Oh, the other big thing. Remember, we were under all those indexes, corruption indexes. We were off of that. The other thing that I believe that they've done beautifully is to do a strip down of the skeleton of the Guyana economy. And let's see that we had an economy that was built on drugs. It was built on drugs and corruption. And the coalition showed that. And those same PPP business people was complaining about the flow of money because the corruption wasn't happening fast enough for the money to flow. They want money to flow. Ladies and gentlemen, we look at when money flowing, we call it, oh, impressive, oh, good. No, it depends on the type of money that is flowing, the quality of the dollar that is flowing through. All right? The quality, if the dollar is being derived and is flowing through based on corruption, that's not sustainable. All right? But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, look, I didn't get to really peep in on your comments tonight because it was a rapid fire hour. We're going to be back for another hour tomorrow. Okay? We are going to be back for another hour. Asirita Ali, don't blame him for what the people did. They got food. Yes, Miss Ali. They got fool, yes, $100,000 fool, all of them. I tell you guys something, man. It's good to have sustainable policies in place rather than get a one-time $100,000 for your vote. All right? I would prefer sustained policies because it works for me and it works for my family. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, it's 8:03. p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the US. It is time for us to wrap up for this evening. I love you. I love you. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of the 4th of July weekend and take good care of yourselves. Until tomorrow, I say again, I love you. I love you. I love you. Over to you. Good night.
Oh, Jesus Christ. If cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.